So you're with Mark and Diane on Real Estate News and Views, and we're going to look at the Barrie condo market today, which is still not good.
Well, yeah, and I just think condos right now, just from all the chatter in the GTA area right now with how much inventory, and yes, they're like people are now calling them bird cages. They're so small but the noise out there is just holy cow. The condo market is just definitely taking a beating on what's going on with it right now in supply. And I watched a video before hopping on here. One of the guys I follow was with some developers, and they're all on hold on condos. They're not building anything.
I watched a video the other day, and this economist is saying that just around right now, and this was about a month ago, 20% couldn't close, and they expect that to be up to 30 to 40% of the new developments where people can't close the deals.
Yeah, but in saying that, okay, yes, I believe that could come true, but these builders aren't stupid. They're not taking $10,000 deposits. They're 20 to 25% deposits.
Yeah, 100 grand or
People are
more.
protected. So, okay, great. You don't close, great. We're taking the deposit. We'll resell it. Great. And there goes. So if the units again drop 25%, I still think they're going to be okay. Maybe 7, 8, 10K, maybe on some. I don't know. But it's not all these builders aren't going to lose gazillions and gazillions and billions of dollars. There's just no way. Just no way.
Well, I just think it's going to be very interesting so like in Barrie, I'm going to share our spreadsheet here. You want to do a shout out while I do that?
Yes, subscribe to the channel for more information on the Barrie Single County real estate market. And if you want a home evaluation, click the links in the beginning of our descriptions. And if buyers want more information on properties, click the second link.
Okay. So this is really bad to me, but see in January how and February we were up. Since then, we've been progressively going down and worse, right? So
Yeah,
last year in May, we had 51 sales. This year, 34,
down how much?
33%.
Okay, where are we year to date?
See, this is the other big issue. So year to date, we actually in March we're up 18%.
Right.
In April, we were again up 7%, but still up.
Yeah.
But we're going on a downward trend now. Now we're under 5%. We're below, like it's negative 5%.
All right.
So the sales last year were 165, and this year we're at 157.
Okay. All right. Not bad. Let's call it, on the year-to-date side, but we know why. And I'm not going to get into the details of why because I keep saying the same shit all the time. It's just there's uncertainty in the air.
Yes, and the
Yeah.
actives are at 183 last year, 254 this year.
Mm-hmm.
So they're up 28%. But what's funny, in March, they were up 48%.
Yeah.
But there was only 119 active last year and only, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we had a cold winter too, right?
Yeah.
We had a cold winter. February was like the record for snowfall ever in a sense for the last 20 years. So people weren't out shopping and listing, and then we seen the inventory kind of jump out more in March, and it's still coming on, right? We're still seeing properties in condos being listed.
But the
Uh,
sales were actually up in January, February, even
yeah.
though the weather sucked.
Yeah, well, we knew who came into office and disrupted the whole world. So
That's the
um,
problem.
that's the problem right there.
So here are our breakdown by prices.
Okay.
3 to 400, which last year we didn't even talk about because there wasn't any.
No, no,
There
no,
wasn't such a thing.
no,
Um, there's 27 actives,
no,
and in 2024, 8 sales. This year, 5.
no.
This range to me is horrifying.
A lot of
4 to
product.
500, 95 actives,
Yep, yep,
and 11 sales.
Yep.
88% are not selling.
Yep.
But look at how many actives in such a low range.
Yep. I know. Well, look. Got a couple of buildings that have closed.
Yeah.
Have term occupancy. We have the debut. There's some in the 5 to 6 range, maybe 4 to 5, depending on the models. Possibly, yes.
But they can't sell yet.
They can't sell. There's an interim occupancy. I know there's some assignment sales going on there. That's
I,
it.
I, I think that bulk is like the Spice Way area.
Yeah.
No?
I was down that way last week and I went, all those buildings along there that I've been down there about a year are all done. Man, there's
Yeah.
a lot of supply.
There's
And
a
now
lot in there, eh?
there's a ton. There's
Ton.
a lot. There's some inventory in on Essa Road, inventory on Ferndale,
Bear Creek.
Bear Creek, right? There's product out there.
Hmm.
And it's tough when we're adding a common element fee,
Yes, for sure.
right?
Well, yeah, so I'll go through this price ranges, then I want to talk about something too. 5 to 600, 84 actives, only 13 sales, 85% aren't selling. Again, low range, right?
Fed's got to do something.
I'm telling you. Six
Give
to
me-
seven, there's only 44,
Mhm.
but only six sales, 86% aren't selling. But look at the inventory drop as soon as we hit the 6 to 7, we're like half.
Yep, yep, yep,
And 7 to 8, only six listings, no sales, two last year.
yep,
8 to 9, only four actives, one sold, two last year. 9 to 1 million, there's only two active, no sales. And
yep,
over 1 million, there's only nine actives, one
yep,
sale last year, one sale this year.
yep, yep.
The thing is, Mark, that people have to, this is one of the big, big things that, remember last year I was telling you about that my mortgage guy called me and it was in Spice Way.
Mhm.
And the when you buy in a development, you have to be very wary of buying in phase two, three, four.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because what happened is a lot of investors bought them in phase one
Yeah.
and then they started selling them.
Hmm.
And they were selling them in the 400s.
You're right.
His client bought in phase three
Mhm.
for 525.
Yeah, yeah.
Her same unit was selling on the open market now because phase one was done
Mhm.
for 450.
Yeah, yeah. You're seeing some even developers I've seen in some content that I've been reading and watching is that some are having sales now, right? Hey, you know what? We've got a couple left. We got a couple back. We know they're not at the price that we sold them prior, 25% off. I've seen lineups for those units on video, right?
Really?
Lineups for them. Yeah. They're not putting a whole releasing a bunch,
Yeah.
but they have 10, 15 that couldn't close. Yeah. Think about it. You got the deposits,
Yeah, I
right?
know.
You got deposits. Here we go. Get rid of them because they're not giving them back.
No.
They're not. And then you got people that will try alternative lending, a B or private. You're just digging a hole because the affordability, the payment is astronomical, right? I mean, it's just we had a lot of speculators out there that thought this market was going to keep going and going and going and going and going.
Well, and the ones that are closing now, people bought in the height.
Yes, yes, they
They
did.
bought when everything was going crazy.
Yes, they did. They did. It was a
And
friend.
and now they're screwed. Like
It's
when
tough.
he said to me, he said like I don't know what I'm going to do here because when they're selling at 450 and she paid 525 and the bank goes in and does an appraisal, like there's no way around it, Mark.
There's not.
Because
There's.
these units are all exactly the same.
Mhm,
It's not like a house on a street, on
mhm,
a little house somewhere where you can say, well, they have updated this and they finished the basement. Like there's no value increase.
mhm.
There's no way to squeeze any value out of that. They're all exactly the same, totally comparable. And if it doesn't appraise, you can be in some big trouble. You can't get the money.
I get the money. That's the problem, right? So it's a tough one. It's a tough game to handle right now, right? There's lots in the market dynamics are changing, right? It just seems there's a dark cloud over Canada right now. It really does.
Yes.
And it's scaring a lot of people. And it's just, until we see Knucklehead down there change some things, which it's just not going to happen. I think will be like this for a long time, or unless some deal gets done where sentiment changes. I think there's buyers looking, but I think we know they're taking their time,
They're
right?
waiting.
They're waiting to see what happens. They're scared. There's still people looking. We're still seeing transactions being done. Um, and I think price matters today, right? Like,
And in the past in Barrie, the condo market was mainly older people.
yeah, but as the city grows too, we're seeing a different shift in demographics going into them.
That's exactly what I wanted to talk about. Now the Spice Ways, they're not older people.
Mm-hmm.
They're younger people, professionals, some of them.
Yeah.
They're a whole new demographic over there.
Hmm.
When you go over there, have you shown any in there?
Last year I did. Yeah.
I found like I was walking down the hallways. Sorry, my dog's bugging me here. Um, when I was walking down the hallways, I could hear people talking in the units. I could hear dogs barking.
Uh,
And I
Wow.
mean, I've been in Nautica, I've been in your building, I've been in all kinds of buildings downtown. I've never heard that.
No, but the wood construction, right? The
Is that
unit,
so it's cheaper construction. They haven't used concrete, probably.
100%. There's a lot of buildings like that, right? Not the 8 stories and above, no, but the 4 stories, which are typically in Spiceway in that area that Pratt's built, they're all wood, right? Unit to unit, like you're gonna hear stuff, right? So it wouldn't be what I want. I'd want quiet. I don't hear my neighbor. They don't hear me, right?
Well, I'm in a mid-unit townhouse now, Mark, and I don't hear my neighbors at all. I don't hear a darn thing. I don't hear TVs, and they have kids and everything, and I hear nothing.
No, no. Yeah,
And and I think Pratt built these,
they did. He did. Mhm.
but there's got to be concrete in between because I like
Certain level there is.
there has to be.
Yep.
Remember that one on Lamstone that I had?
Yep.
And my son lived in there, right?
Yep.
He said he could hear everything.
Really, eh?
He said that his master bedroom, I guess, shared a wall with their master bedroom,
Right.
and he heard a lot of stuff he didn't want to hear.
Well, yeah, that happened, but
So he
you know,
told me, "You're gonna hate it over there. You're gonna hate this thing."
yeah.
I love it. I don't honestly, I don't hear a thing,
I never
nothing.
I never did in my town home either.
You didn't either, right?
I never had problems at all. Never.
And
No.
Pratt built yours too?
I never heard nothing. It was great. So,
Yeah.
I just think
The condo market, I mean, it's when you're, especially when you're doing pre-construction and you're in phase two, three, phase one usually is safe, eh? Because phase two and three are always paying more than you are.
now there's no phases. No
No.
one's right. So you don't have to, we're at phase zero because we're not doing it anymore. Right. No
Yeah.
one, so we see some demand and things change, you know. I don't know. It's kind of dismal out there, right? It's kind of a
Well, and
we're
a lot of people are renting them out now, right? That's why we're seeing such an increase in rental units available
percent
because they
supply.
can't sell them.
Can't sell them, rent them out, right? So, yeah, I mean, it's a tough one. It's a tough one to handle, and pricing matters in this market. Don't wait too long to adjust. If things price it properly, and if you're still not seeing some things, adjust. Not adjust drastically, but adjust.
Yep.
So, yeah, I don't really have much more to say about the condo market, this other than there's a lot of supply, and that's been taking the beatings in the media today because it's
Yeah.
right. And build them better. Make better layouts.
That's another thing. Everything's going,
Terrible.
even the debut
Terrible.
ones, right? You said like the layout is
It was
decent, but
okay.
it's 700 square feet. Like a family can't live in there.
One person, maybe two. Not a big family room. You got two bedrooms, but it's when you put two people in there sharing a unit, there's not a lot of space. There's not a lot of space in there. And so I only toured a two bedroom, so I couldn't imagine what a one bedroom is.
Well, and the other thing that Mark is you need two incomes to actually be able to pay the mortgage. So making these little units for one person is useless unless you're going to rent it out because otherwise nobody can afford it on their own.
Really, it's not there.
Yep.
No, tough. Okay, let's
All
wrap
right.
up the details. Okay,
Have a
see
good
you.
day.
Okay, you too.